Hi everyone and welcome. This is the Adobe Live Show, episode number 2 with Josh. How are you today?
Pretty good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited to see what you will be creating after all the hard work that happened yesterday, the design audit. But we will recap what happened. Thanks for joining. I see Zach, who is the king of dark mode, remember?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
King of dark mode.
He's everywhere on Twitter now. I think it has been his tweet has been retweeted by the director of Behance. That's pretty things happening.
Wow.
Yeah, and thumbs up for your nice shirt. Mitch really likes it.
Supporting space, the space nerds.
Yeah, Buzelifa, thanks for joining. Hi Tiffany, good to have you back. So yeah, I recognize some faces from yesterday who are really eager to follow this process. We go live for 3 days with our guests. This is day 2. If you missed the replay, you can watch the replay in the replays tab. And we can check actually what happened today. So we started the day with Kathleen Lowe, hosted by Rumana, who works for Adobe in New York. And then you just watch maybe Lauren and Mark. And now we'll be live for 2 hours with Josh. This is day 2 and we'll be back tomorrow. So if you missed yesterday, you can watch the replay and maybe we'll explain what happened. Also stay tuned because we're still giving away Moo gift cards. So Moo is an amazing website where you can upload your design and create, for instance, first-class business cards with very good paper, professional ink, some printing effects. It's really awesome, and it's for you. And also there will be a surprise, even if you don't win during our chat and win section, there is a surprise for all of you. And we challenge you today, as every day. Today it's a little bit more complex than yesterday. Yesterday they just had to design one screen, which was a music playlist.
Yeah.
When today they have to download a UI kit, like a full XD template, and the link is in the challenge tab to design a fashion blog website. Okay, so you can find maybe pictures of fashion, what you like on Adobe Stock, for instance, drag and drop them, pick some modern typefaces, and just design a web page. And we'll be happy to review what you share with us at the end of the show. And someone today, actually the best design, will win a 1-year Creative Cloud subscription. So good luck with that. We're really looking forward to see your design. It's also a good opportunity just to get some live feedback from Josh. Yesterday it was really awesome what you did, giving feedback about all these designs.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Okay, so I think you have an introduction ready for us where we can maybe recap on which project you are working on and what you did yesterday and what you will be working on today.
Yep, so really quickly, if you didn't join yesterday, my name is Josh Iwata. I've been designing for a long time. This was the image of the first, or the phone that was being used when I started designing about 15 years ago.
How many pixels do you think? Do you remember the name of this phone?
I don't know, but I tried a social experiment with myself and tried getting one of these about a year ago and not using a smartphone. It was pretty painful.
Okay, this one is quite advanced because
this one has
color
screen,
some colors. Right? Okay, I will try to find the resolution just for fun.
It's really like.
Okay, so it
was
a
the
Nokia
Mac that was being used.
3520.
3520.
Screen resolution, color. Okay, let's see. It was one of the first color screen actually. Okay.
Someone said Don Marie says I had that phone.
Oh, wait, really?
And Nat says it had a radio and a flashlight, which is true. Yeah, some of these Nokias had FM radios and flashlights, which seemed very smart at the time.
4,000 colors. It's not bad, huh? 4,000.
4,000?
Colors, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's not bad.
That's a lot better than 16.
Okay, I'll let you continue.
Okay,
Let's find this one.
Keep going. So this was my career path. I started life as an illustrator. I moved to web design, and then eventually I moved into UI, UX. And that kind of led me down the path of helping to found a product called Setmore, which you can check it out at setmore.com. It's online appointment booking. It's still going strong. I started that and worked as the primary designer and then eventually CEO of that company. And then that brought me to eventually, I left that last year. Now I'm working as COO of Classhero and doing a lot of product design still, since, as most of you probably know, in a small startup, you're doing a lot of the work, you're wearing a lot of the hats. You don't get to pass it off to a team. So that brings us to what we're going to be working on today, which we started yesterday on the student app. We went through a design audit, and I'll show you what that is in a second. And then we moved into the wireframes, and I'll go over kind of just a brief recap. We're redesigning. Part of the reason we wanted to do that is that designers, a lot of times, you kind of want a carte blanche, right, where you can just do whatever you want. There's no box. A lot of the times projects look a little more like that in the real world. You don't get to just design whatever app comes to your head. So this is the process that I'm using. Starting out with research, going to the design audit, wireframes, design mockups, and the prototype. Thanks Voodoo Val for the loving the Matrix reference. So I know that was quick, but I don't want to eat up too much time for anyone who's already seen this. And I will also go over now kind of that process, that design auditing process, right?
So I've just found the resolution of the Nokia phone. It was 96.
96?
Yeah, less than 100 pixels by 65.
Can you imagine designing for that?
I mean, it's pixel art.
It is pixel art, yeah. Yeah, it's still being done, right?
Even a video game, imagine that. Like, what kind of game can
Snake,
you do?
right? Wasn't
yeah,
that
yeah, just
the
Snake,
game playing Snake on that thing? So the research phase, it looks different for everyone. The typical research phase for me is going in and reading articles, doing research, blogs, looking at Behance, that kind of thing, and seeing really what's already out there. I think you need to familiarize yourself with any market that you're designing for. In this case, it's a children's educational app for it's I guess I didn't say that already. It's for kids to practice math in the classroom.
Yeah.
So it's designed to be used 10 minutes a day in the class practicing math.
Yeah. All together with the teacher.
All together with the teacher helping instruct, ages 3 to 11. And you'll see more of it in a second. But I had never designed a kids app before. I mean, this is kind of in between a UI of a app and a video game almost.
Yeah.
And so I had to do some research on that and figure out, what are best practices for designing children's app. I also go for inspiration and looked at quite a few. This is just a few of them. Just what is stylistically, what does it look like? What are some of the restrictions? What are patterns that, design patterns that some of these different apps follow?
Mm-hmm.
And then that eventually led us into starting out, which we did an audit. If you joined us, let me get into XD. If you joined us yesterday, we went through kind of in real time, and we went screen by screen of the Classhero app, and I'll show it to you here. And we basically marked up issues with it, all the things that really didn't make a lot of sense in terms of UI and flow perspective. So we did this in real time with you guys giving feedback, whoever was in the stream and the chat, and then we were like, and then I was marking, what was wrong with it and what we could improve. Do we need to actually go through the real app again? Do you think it would be useful for that, or
maybe once?
Okay, let's do it once.
Yeah, just to see the flow again. And that's the current state of the app that has been designed 4 years ago. So before you join this company.
Correct. Yeah.
And now you're in the redesign stage.
Yeah. Let's see if my Wi-Fi is going to let me get in here in a reasonable amount of time. It's slow,
I was checking if
we'll see. Well, here I'll click through it here.
Maybe I'm more looking.
And
would it work on my computer, or?
Yeah, it would actually. Oh, you have
if
it. Fine. So
started.
Go to login and then student login. Do you want to switch to your screen?
And
okay. There we go.
So let's see if I remember the experience. So this is using Unity. This is what you were saying.
So this app is built on Unity. So it's not going to be a responsive design. It's going to look the same on all devices.
And so first, that's the login experience where I have to mention, am I at school or am I at home?
Yep.
At school, then it's with the teacher. With he would give me a PIN code, I think, and home is just to practice, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I will say school, and then I have a pop-up, and we noticed yesterday that the pop-up is not hiding the full UI. So can I still click here? Actually, you see, this one is still active.
Yeah, you can still act, right?
Ooh.
So talking about some of these design decisions, and as we audited the app, was with kids especially, they don't necessarily understand, don't click on these buttons down here because this modal window is active. So we have to do things that will really make it super obvious and super easy for kids to use as young as 3 years old.
Yeah, and this is the most innovative close button in the
Just
history
the
of design.
round
Yeah,
circle. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all you need, right?
don't add a cross or anything. No,
No,
just
I
okay.
think that's acceptable.
And clever. So you mentioned this is something that is
Yeah.
in all the schools, and they can use a badge or QR code. Like it's something that all the schools are
it's
using.
single sign-on, just like you would sign in with
so
Facebook.
let's enter a PIN.
So do 57220. I believe that's my class pin. Nope, that was not the class. 57220. Is that what you typed in?
Typeface. Okay,
Yeah,
let's do
really
it again.
ugly typeface. See, you've got too many.
Sorry,
So
what is this?
57220.
57.
There we go.
Boom.
Got some gears.
It's loading.
It's
Look at that.
I like your zoom action.
Oh yeah, and then I have to pick
So
who I am. So
you pick,
Tobias.
Yeah, Tobias should be at the bottom.
Tobias.
There. Yeah.
So this is something you will see after, thanks to your feedback, how he improved the experience.
Yep.
And then what should I do? Should I start?
So this is the screen where a kid would see their lessons. So the teacher has assigned these in a separate interface that we're not going over on the show. But so that's the kid would see there's 4 lessons there for them to work on. These are rewards cards that they can choose.
With the pasta, arrabbiata.
Riabata, which made people hungry, talking about yesterday.
Oh,
Because of the
Tesla.
pasta. Yeah, there's some good cards.
I
in
want
there.
Einstein.
So you
Okay.
can set that as your
Boom.
reward. So whatever card the kid sets as their reward, that becomes their goal basically. And they'll be working towards earning that card through practice sessions. So some cards are worth 5 practice sessions, some are worth 10. And as they complete the practice sessions, they earn points towards earning their card.
And I have
Yeah, and
years.
this is the player interface. So as a kid is going through a math problem, those gears will
Nice.
appear and they will slowly lower that crane down to their prize.
I had the nerve at it. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's just stretching your math skills doing this, right?
Oh yeah, and you were mentioning this. So that's a timer also showing that I'm still active, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to act as a progress bar, but it's not super obvious.
Yeah, the past design was to combine a progress bar and 4 timers. So they took 10 minutes and they broke it up into 4 separate timers of 2.5 minutes. It's not the most intuitive interface, and kids don't always seem to know what's going on. So we'll be working to improve that as well.
Oh, okay, here we go. That's what I wanted to
Oh,
see.
you got one. Yeah,
So I have to get all of this.
yeah. hmm
Whoa.
Over the course of your 10 minutes, you'll fill that. You'll
In
fill
10
that
minutes.
up.
That's awesome.
Um,
Okay, so maybe you want to show in XD.
yeah, I don't know.
Do you need internet or no? I can fix
No,
it maybe.
I don't really. I guess I don't really.
Let me
need
know,
it.
and I would put
Okay.
you on a different network.
Sure. Okay, so all the I know we went through that very quickly, especially if you didn't join for session 1. If you didn't join yesterday, I would encourage you to go back
Yeah.
into the
replay.
into the replays and watch part 1, and then this will make more sense. So we marked all this up, spacing things out, what didn't make sense, you shouldn't be showing these buttons here, picking their profile, let's use avatars. One big point of working on kids' apps was that we needed to use symbol-based navigation because kids don't, a 3-year-old can't read even their own name maybe, more than likely. So we went through that, and that's typically the kind of auditing process. And then we went through actually creating a flow chart of what did this app look like. And we created this in real time during the session. And this is the flow, right? We start in the login page. You have the option to do a home login or a school login. If you do a school login, that makes you choose your PIN or your Clever. That makes you choose your name if you chose your PIN, which is what we did. And then that would take you all the way here to the home page. And then there was this point where we didn't demonstrate this today, but there was a point where we demonstrated where if you had not chosen your reward, your card you wanted to work on, then it kicked you out of the lessons and it made you go pick your card and then it dumped you back in the home screen. So it was this whole process right here. which was confusing for, I think, any user, but especially young users, of what they should be working on. And so we simplified that flow, right? We moved to this flow right here, which we combined this lesson screen and the home screen into one screen, and then kids can just choose what lesson they want to work on directly from the home screen. They don't have to go into a separate screen for that, and it also simplifies the flow where they can see what reward they're going to be working on.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you started a wireframe yesterday?
Yeah, and I started a wireframe
And as you're jumping
yesterday.
there, the chat and win countdown has just appeared on your screen. So in about 13 minutes, we will do a chat and win. I will explain how it works, but basically we just need you to be active in the chat to get a chance to win a gift card on moo.com. And maybe you will be able to print your the business card of your dreams. So Classhero, yeah.
Great. So this is the wireframe, the start of the wireframes. Very simple home login, login page with the home login de-emphasized, so we could really focus on the school login, because this app is designed for school use. Yeah. The kids are allowed to use it at home, but it's not the primary use of it. So we de-emphasized this home button to give some hierarchy to what the kids would be drawn to first. Remember that wireframes don't necessarily need to be beautiful, and we'll worry about rounding buttons and icons and all that later. And then we moved to this screen, which was login with your class pin. So assuming someone had clicked on school login, they have two options. One is to log in with their class pin. One is to log in with Clever. And there's a development on this screen, because I had a call with my dev team this morning, and our developer Vadim came up with a better solution than this, and so I'm going to implement that here.
No. You mean like a design improvement coming from a developer?
Yeah, I know. It's shocking, right? Shocking.
I don't believe it.
So I love these kind of improvements, because what we have currently is they have to type in a 5-digit PIN, right? One of the complications is you have to get a kid to use their keyboard, which could be complicated, or the keyboard slides up from the iPad, which covers up part of the UI.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Or they have to choose, they have to click on the field that they want to bring into focus. So actually, for a 4-year-old, that can be pretty complicated, right? And the idea is once they've typed in the 5 numbers, we should know what the pin is, if it's right or wrong. So can anyone guess what I'm going to be doing here? Sounds like Michael's already got it figured out.
Yeah, let's see if you figured out, like, how could we improve the experience for a kid? And again, we want the kids to enter a 5-digit number.
Oops. What I'm doing here.
Matthias says maybe iPad Android got a small whole number keyboard. It does not take up that much. Oh yeah, if you're on iPad on Android, yeah, you can specify actually what is the type of the field, and then it would only show numbers. Actually, I love it. You know, when I'm on a website, you know, and it's asking for a phone number, and it only shows the number. I'm like, oh, finally.
It's nice, yeah.
A nice design.
It's actually thought out well, right?
Catherine says, say the number out loud.
Well, that is...
Yeah. Imagine in the classroom, Catherine. Like you have like 40 kids. Like, 5! No.
Right.
Sorry, Paco, for the 5. Just destroyed your ears.
Distribute.
Separate boxes. Oh, Nat Iwata. Do you know Nat?
Yeah. I know Nat.
Yeah. Separate boxes. Ah.
There's a guy in the chat that looks a little bit like
familiar.
me. So.
I think he stole your identity.
I'm going to switch over to my layers. So I made these, I'm trying to space things out evenly. And if you go to Object, Distribute horizontally, it'll push them all. So my solution is actually to create a number pad right here on the screen. Yeah. And I think that's actually a pretty good solution, because it makes it so that kids don't have to deal with their physical keyboard or their iPad keyboard, and we don't know what they're going to be using. And so what we'll do is we'll create a number pad here, okay? And I'm gonna get rid of a couple of these lines that I added on the ends here.
It looks like a piano so far. Piano keyboard.
Yeah. It won't in a second. So I'm dividing this into, I'm I'm gonna have 10 buttons because that's how many numbers we need, right? See, look at that magic. Right there. Okay, now we have buttons. I'm gonna grab all these and this. I'm gonna group those. That's Command G, groups all your buttons.
Mikhail says you can create a custom keyboard, so this is what he's doing. Yes.
Yep.
Good. Nice.
Exactly.
That's good. And maybe use other objects than number. It says that Mobile Play, it's a Danish mobile payment solution. They had a custom design keyboard for inputting, but the total amount. Okay.
Oops.
That's also for security reason, I think.
Yeah, this is
Or when it comes to banking and stuff. So it's a classic pattern. Like I saw this on several banking websites, you know, where you have like a custom keyboard, but then they will randomize, like it wouldn't do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like it would change also the position of the numbers every time you enter your PIN code. So there is no script detecting the path of the mouse. I mean, they thought about everything.
Michael, what am I doing wrong here? Maybe you could help me with.
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
I'm choosing the text tool. I'm clicking to type. I'm typing, and nothing's coming.
So look at your fill.
So I can see it's there. I can see it's there.
How is your
my
fill?
My fill. Okay, it was my fill. Yeah.
Maybe your fill was at 0%.
Yeah. Okay. Thought I'd. And I want to use this.
I'm with you.
Roboto.
Shapes animal can be drawn to create the key. Whoa. Drag and drop animals. Okay.
Well, so
one
of the things with this is actually an existing app, and we're generating the app generates a key code for the kids. So we can't really change that format. We have to design within the constraints of what's there. So what's there is a 5-digit PIN, and that's what we kind of have to work around. But I really like the idea of where kids could just like do an animal combination or something. I think that'd be really creative with.
It could be colors. I mean, a concept that a 3-year-old can easily understand.
Yeah, exactly.
But because they have to learn mathematics, I think it's good to ask them to pick numbers, actually.
Right, I agree.
It's the first training, you know, when you're a kid, is to learn the shapes of these figures.
Yeah. Okay. So I adjusted the spacing here, and then I'll do one down here for 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll do 5 lines for
5 boxes that you
5 boxes.
or
yeah.
lines. Yeah.
I'll do lines so that we don't really need the kids to click on anything, right?
That's a good point.
I could use the grid.
The grid.
I always forget about the grid.
It's so unique to XD.
It is unique to XD. It's awesome. I really like it.
Okay, you have to zoom in massively.
Yeah,
it will work, but you have to zoom in.
Okay. I didn't quite do the spacing the way I want, though. I can ungroup it, though, yeah? And now they're independent.
or you can reduce the size of one line. You know, it will change all the...
But then it won't change the spacing, you know?
Oh, I see what you mean.
I want the spaces to be
closer
to.
Okay, that works too. Yeah, that's good.
Actually, maybe a little smaller. Okay, and then I'll make this one, you know, darker and so that they know that one is active, right?
Okay.
So now the kids, all they have to do is start typing, right? They don't need to do anything other than start typing on the keyboard.
Maybe they need a back button, like.
And we also need a delete button.
Or delete or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Kind of make that.
Sarah Bao says could be 5 animals. Each could be a number. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a classic kind of a number pad back button with
combination of also a number and a background color. Like, yeah, there are several ways to help. I think keeping the number is important, but if you're 3, do you know how to count, Enrique? Oh yeah. I guess at 3 you already know your numbers. At least until 10, no? You're supposed to know.
Well, I think, yeah. I think every kid is kind of at their own level, right?
That will be the first lesson before launching the app.
Well, and that's actually one of the things when you're designing an app for kids is you have to You actually have to be really conscious of that. Like all kids are at different levels, right? You
Yeah.
can't assume that a first grader knows how to read because in many classes
What
they
is a
don't.
9?
Right?
Like press 9 and
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've got this this back button now.
Yeah.
If a kid needs to delete the numbers that they were doing, that
and
they were
how
typing.
do they submit or
And I actually
auto submit?
Yeah, you guys can tell me what you think, but I don't think we need a submit button.
Okay.
I think the kids can type in their 5-digit code. If it's wrong, then it'll look wrong and they won't be able to. It'll like turn red and they can't go forward. If it's right, it'll just automatically log them in. It reminds me of like a key a menu on like a phone menu where you're calling a number.
Oh,
They
yeah.
ask you to type in a 5-digit PIN or whatever. I always hate that you have to hit the pound symbol because I'm like, why do you need to hit the pound symbol? You've just entered a 5-digit code. It should just automatically progress you. And the less we have to ask the kid to do in this instance, I think is a good thing, right? So here, this solution, they punch in the numbers. If they got the code right, they automatically get pushed to this screen.
So Alana, thanks for joining. She's asking, what are you doing? So we are redesigning an app. You can watch a replay from yesterday or just actually go back in time during this video if you want to look at the first 5 minutes where Josh explained that he's redesigning an app called Classhero. And it's an app, so now we are on the login experience for students to learn mathematics. And it's an interactive experience with a classroom and a teacher. So they had to enter a PIN so they know in which classroom they are, and now they have to say, this is me. So that will be the next step. Like, I am in this class, but I am Michael, you are Josh. So
yep.
This is the choose your name
So that's the format is and this is all somewhat teacher guided, and we've observed actual kids using this in the classroom. This is a real classroom app. And what the teacher will do is like write the class PIN, the 5-digit PIN, to get all her kids into her class logged in. She'll write that on the on the blackboard or the whiteboard, and then the kids will punch it in to their account. So if it's 12250, they'll type that in, and once it's correct, they'll get presented with a list of avatars and names. And so they pick their name from the list, and then they can start working on their lessons, right?
Yeah.
It says, Matthias says that he's designing an app for kids in a few months, so he's stealing some ideas. That's cool. That's cool. Great. So this screen was based on people's suggestions in the chat, right?
And Alana would join us says, but when I think about kids, I think about something colorful. So this is a wireframe. So
yes.
This is where you just place, blocks of information. It's about, just the architecture of the information, and UI design will come after. But we're live for 2 hours, and he will be back tomorrow also. So
yeah, we'll get to the color.
On some colors at some point.
And it can sometimes feel like a waste of time to do wireframes, but I really think, and I emphasized this yesterday, that it's super important to do that work because as a designer, it's really easy to get distracted by the fonts, the colors, the outlines, the gradients, when you should be focusing on structure. And really none of that stuff matters if the structure is not sound. So the wireframes remove those distractions and they force you to work in monochromatic, black and white, or some people use, blue and white or whatever. But that's the whole point, is to remove those decisions from your plate so you don't need to make them right now. You can just focus on the structure and the architecture. So if I go back here, there's another way to log in, which is with your school, right? Home login. So I'm gonna duplicate this. Oops. I'm gonna make this for home login.
Okay.
And one thing that I probably should have added here is I should have kept this icon consistent and carried it over here.
Okay.
As a symbol for kids, so they know that they're doing their class PIN. Okay, so I'll add this over here, which I think is a good idea.
Yep.
And I will do the same for the home login, right? So I'll grab this, I'll come over here, I'll say home login.
And it's time for chat and win. Look at that. So
the fireworks are going off.
And today I have something new for you. I have a special gift.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Special.
It's the chat and win video introduction.
Oh wow. Okay. Am I supposed to do that?
No. You
No.
Look at that. So now it's time to play. So make sure to sign in and to type something in the chat. Okay, they already started. Pew, 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 pew. Yes, chat and win. So we want you to sign in on behance.net/live, type something in the chat because we have a script who will randomly pick someone who just published a message in the chat. So what you can win is a gift card on moo.com. Okay, Moo is our partner this week. And Moo is a friend of all the design community because you can upload your own design, create your own business card, choose the quality of the paper. It can be really awesome. And not only business cards, actually, they do a lot of products. And it's a great way to transform your design into tangible objects. We really love Moo. So the name will appear. Here we go. So congratulations.
Dawn Marie.
Dawn Marie. Congratulations, Dawn Marie.
Well, that sounds better when you say it.
Dawn Marie. So we'll contact you on Behance, send you a private message to exchange information, but you will receive a gift card. If you didn't win, you will get more chances tomorrow, but also we are running a special operation this week. So if you type moo.com, and we will put the link in the chat, /Adobe Live, you will get a 15% discount. Just for you, just for the Adobe Live fans. So if you plan to order business cards or any type of print productions, make sure to visit moo.com/Adobe Live, and this is how you will get 15% reduction discount on moo.com. Okay? And now you can still be active. We're still challenging you today, so make sure to check the challenge tab where you can download our XD template file. It's a full UI kit designed by Melanie, who was actually a guest on Adobe Live. She was live with us from Awards in Berlin, which is a UX design conference. You know, Awards is the website, the AWWW. Yeah. And she designed a full UI kit, and we want you to transform the UI kit to create a fashion blog web design. And at the end of the show, we will review the design, give you some advice. I mean, it should be cool.
Great.
We already received the design from the king of dark mode. I see that in my list. So we review it at the end. And you still have 56 minutes, okay, to download the UI kit, add some fashion elements, colors, pictures, and yeah, it should be good to go.
It's a good challenge.
And Alana, it's the first time you hear about Adobe XD. What? XD, it stands for Experience Design. So this is what Josh is using right now. And it's free. So you should get it now. We'll put a link in the chat, but you should get it now. xd.adobe.com. And it's available on Windows, available on Mac, and it lets you design screens, design any type of experience. So you are doing an iPad app, but it could be a website.
It could be anything. I mean, I used it yesterday for flowcharts.
Yeah, it could be flowcharts. It could be an app for the Apple Watch. Every time there is a screen, okay? I already even know some people, they use it for VR, you know, like to anticipate the interaction in the helmet. So that's a good one, Zach. So Alana, make sure to design screens, and then you can create prototypes. So we'll show it probably tomorrow and show you how to connect the screens that you can share, get feedback. So awesome. But thanks for joining, Alana. Thanks for watching us.
Great. And I think Michael's trying to glaze over it, but I saw a lot of comments about his voice in the chat.
What's happening?
People were liking his
with
his
Dawn Marie?
your accent and your voice.
Dawn Marie. Welcome to the rock.
It's good. Is that
it's good?
Sean Connery?
That was Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. That's
you
impressive.
see?
I knew it.
It worked.
Good tell. Okay, let's get back to, if Michael could just narrate everything I'm doing in that voice, that'd be really great. Oops.
Let's work on the home login. So,
all right. So I'm going to work on the home. The home login is.
So what is different?
The home login is a username and password. It is not.
Oh.
There's no fancy keypad. It is alphanumeric, not just numeric. So it's not quite as simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this button up, and then I have some just saved symbols here that are form fields, basic form fields. We'll say username. And you know, the assumption here is that this is not quite as easy as the pin, but there's likely going to be a parent helping with the younger kids. or they're older kids and they're doing it from home and they're tech savvy enough to get into it on their own.
Yeah, and I would be surprised like if you are 3 or 4, like you don't have homework.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's more for the when you're like 6, 7, 8, I guess.
So it gives us a little more leeway in making this more standard like UI versus this one where we're like, you know, we really have to imagine a teacher trying to get 30 kids to use this right away. So we'll do a standard here, but you know, let's still spruce it up a little bit. We'll add a key here to kind of show that this is the, oh, not there, that's the wrong place actually. We'll add it here for password, and then we'll add maybe a little user icon for username. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. What happened? There we go.
It's a group or something?
Yeah, it was sometimes icons, when you pull them in and they were SVGs, they have groups and they have masks on them. You know,
mask. Yeah.
Okay, so I think the home login looks pretty good, and you know, I might as well. It's so easy to prototype in XD that I will mock up and prototype even the wireframes, because it lets the client know what that flow is going to look like even before you do the finished work.
Can you show it now? That's for you. Who was asking? Anna?
Yeah.
You know, who is new to XD in the chat? Like, let us know, like, who is really new, like, first time you see XD, because that's a very important part. So you were in the design space, okay, designing screens, and you can have like a lot of screens, huh? You can really, you have space, okay, to design screens.
Have unlimited space.
So there is a trick actually, like when you select something, you just do Command 2, and it will zoom in, or Command 1, it will go back to 100%. Command 3, it will zoom in on the artboard. So once you master Command 1, 2, 3, or 0,
Command 0 shows you all the artboards.
Yeah, these are very useful shortcuts.
Yeah.
And so that's design, and now you will switch to prototype. So that's
yeah. So there's this little tab in the upper right.
Yes.
If you click over to prototype, it lets you select any element on the page, and it gives you this little handle. And all you have to do is drag that handle to the screen that you want, let go, and you could choose your transition as well, dissolve, slide left, slide right, up, down. You could also, if you don't want to go to a full screen, you could do overlay, and that'll pop it on top, which is really awesome. That's a pretty advanced like prototyping behavior. So now if we do that and we go play, our school login is linked there. You can see I don't have a back button, so I can't get back.
Interesting.
So see, doing the prototype, homie, you realize, oh crap, I forgot a back button. So yeah, this little play button up in the upper right, super useful, and you can actually share these prototypes with clients as well on the cloud.
So Milan is asking, could I design web with XD? Is it better with Photoshop? So very good question, Milan. So so it's true that usually for web design, especially if you have a lot of pictures, you want to create effects and stuff, you can still use Photoshop, but I would say that the best is to use both. So to use Photoshop really to retouch pictures, add blending modes, I mean, whatever you need. But XD to create the layout and add this interaction is like super useful for web design. You can also have scrolling experiences. So really emulate, like I'm scrolling on a page, I show a pop-up, I jump to another page of my website, so you can do everything. And if you already have designed web pages with Photoshop, Milan, you can open Photoshop files in XD. And it will keep all the layers, the text, all the elements, and then you can just add some interactions. Exactly what you just did. Like if I click here, I jump to this page.
Yep.
Sarabah is asking, why does XD don't have rulers? Because we don't need them.
Yeah, because XD is really designed for digital design. So you're not measuring things in inches. You won't really ever have to do that. It's always pixel-based. And with pixel-based, it's far less likely that you're going to need a ruler to measure something out, right? You could do that in other ways. You can adjust the width and height and things over here.
Yeah, and there are some shortcuts if you need some margin. I think if you press, like if you need the, how is it?
Oh, to show you the distance?
Yeah, to show the distance. And
yeah, there we go.
Here, you see, like between these elements, I have like 102 pixels, pressing option, And there is also a way to publish the design specs, which is something maybe we can show later. So this is more for if you want to share it with your developer.
Yeah.
So he can get all these, like he would get this experience, but in a web browser. So he would understand also the distance between all the elements. And he could also, you can say this, you can export it, like this icon, this one. So there is a way, actually, if you go to and that's new, like that's something we added 2 weeks ago, I think. Like this icon, so you can, of course, rename it. So what would be the name of this? The hat?
Hat.
Hat icon. And you can say, I think it's this one. Mark for export. So when you publish the design specs, he will be able to export it from the browser and get a SVG or a PNG or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. Is that true? Windows 8.1, they can't use XD.
Yes, you need Windows 10 minimum. Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks for all your questions. I mean, it's good. A lot of people discovering XD thanks to you, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
So we have,
so we have home login, we need the back button. And that's actually something, maybe you could chime in on the chat, but my thought was, I would actually like to have a consistent, because this is for kids, I would like to have a consistent back button that we use throughout all the pages, whether they're up kind of a pop-up or not. This is a common element with, if you look at games, Angry Birds, or like these other games, a lot of them have this lower left back button that the kids hit to get back to something, versus like an X in the upper right hand for the pop-up, and then a back button for this screen. And then, so I'm thinking of having it consistent across the screens. I think it would make sense to have something like that.
Okay.
What do you think, Michael?
I think, because someone could say, oh, maybe they just have to click on the background and the pop-up will disappear. And I think with kids, they will click on the background. But it won't be intentional. You know what I mean? It's just too much space, especially on an iPad. So I agree that a back button is great. I wonder if it should be in the top left corner, because it's not something that you will use very often.
Well, my thought is that it's
to show like a navigation, like I switch in between pages. How do you feel?
Yeah, like when a kid gets to the internal pages.
It will be always the same.
You don't really want it like in the upper right on those pages. Because there'll be like their name or the name of the lesson. So some of this is because I have knowledge already of,
that makes sense.
Kind of what the end game looks like to a degree.
Socrates is injecting some binary code in the chat. You see, he's trying to hack the chat. It's impressive.
Yeah, he's talking.
Yeah, directly. He's directly talking to the server.
But maybe we could, de-emphasize this a little bit and have it a little less loud.
I mean, that's a wireframe. At least you remember that you need to place a back button.
Yeah, exactly, and that's part of the beauty of prototyping, right? Is you're able to do that. If what's the shortcut to link this to that? If I'm in prototype mode, do I need to grab the handle? I thought there was a shortcut too
to do what?
To just automatically make the handle come out, and I could just draw to it.
Yeah. So if you just click on this.
Yeah.
On the little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can choose the artboard, but you can say, instead of choosing an artboard, you just say, go back to the previous artboard. So target. Click on target.
Target.
Previous artboard.
Artboard. That's cool.
So wherever it's coming from, it will just go
nice.
back, and it will invert the transition. So if you do a slide left, if you go back, it will do a slide right.
Yeah. Okay, let me test that out. School login.
Yeah, let's make sure it works.
Back. Yep. Home login. Back.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. That's really awesome. Okay, great. So we have a back button now. So that's, maybe I'll move it a little more out of the way. Let's move it over there. Okay, again, this is a wireframe. Doesn't need to look super beautiful. We'll put one on the screen too. Okay. Choose your name. Okay, so we have those.
Oh, can I try something?
Yeah.
Something I've always wondered.
Yeah.
Can you go in prototype? And is this one connected? Like, is this one has a, if you click here? No, okay.
No,
So,
but I thought it did carry, these two carry,
so-
that one, okay.
so that's what I was
It
wondering.
didn't carry the behavior over is what you're saying.
If you copy paste it in the prototype view,
Yeah?
it will keep the behavior.
Ah, okay. Oh, I did.
Yeah.
It kept
So that's the
behavior,
difference
okay.
between copy pasting in design and prototype.
Got it, okay.
I've heard about this and I've never tried, and thanks to you.
No, that's good.
I
All right,
know,
now
okay.
we know. Okay, okay. I'm like not satisfied with where that button is, but we'll just leave it alone for now. So let's move. So now this is the login process, right? They've gotten past the login. Now we need to dump them on the actual home screen. And that's gonna take a little more time to do. So let's start hashing that out. I'm gonna clear this board so we don't have any more. So I know if we look at this home screen, this has their name, it has a start button. We're combining these two screens is what we wanna do. We wanna move active, oh sorry, not rewards, these two screens. We wanna combine the lesson screen, which lets the kid choose which lesson to start playing or working on. And we want to combine this home screen because this home screen has a lot of real estate that's not being used. It's just being used for, background. Someone says the Classhero logo reminds them of Finding Nemo. It's not just you, Michael.
Yeah, it's
I didn't do the logo.
Something we mentioned yesterday, Alana. So
Don't tell Disney, please.
don't
Yep.
go. Remove the replay from YouTube.
So one of the first things I know is that we're going to need the student's name, right? So I'm going to put
So that's the
Tobias up here.
So Tobias is logged in.
Looks like I have that as a setting still.
Could be welcome, Tobias. You know, we can add something more.
Well, this is what they will see all the time, right?
Ah.
This is their main screen.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put their name up here with.
With the picture, huh? We have
Yeah, I'm gonna go
pictures
grab
now.
this little avatar here. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab Tobias's avatar. This is Tobias Fuenke. If anyone is familiar with the show I'm referencing.
I have no idea, but I'm
Someone
sure
in the
someone
chat
will
will
find.
know.
Yeah. Tobias,
Anyone
what do
know
you say?
Tobias Fuenke?
Frankie.
Okay, someone else.
I'm sure someone will
will
know.
figure it out. We'll see. And I'm going to use, you see I have this layout turned on, so I can go off the grid system, which is great.
Tamara has a question for you. Like, what's the difference between UX design and web design?
Ah, so see people
Oh,
are,
I was the
I love
developer.
there are dozens of us. That's a Never Nude reference. Yep, you guys got it. Good job.
Good job.
The difference between UX design and web design and UI design, actually, there's a decent amount of difference. I would say web design can fall under any of those things. It's a broader category. Specifically, UI refers to user interface, meaning it's the actual elements, the front end, the placement of the buttons, all of that is considered UI.
Look and feel.
Yep. Where the UX is a little more abstract, it's more about the user flow and behavior. And so you could have UX designers who all they do for their job is map out flows, do research, do personas, do maybe jump into wireframe some.
Focus groups.
Right. And a lot of times as designers, we're kind of made to do everything, but there are, you know, sometimes I have a hard time saying I'm a UX designer because I really am more of a UI designer. If you're a UX designer, you're probably spending a lot of your time, you know, looking at user behavior versus just doing the layout work in like XD. But a lot of people, you have to do all of it. You know, you're the designer at your organization, and you've got to do the UX, the UI, and the the web design or whatever else comes up. Maybe the interior design. I had to do that in my old company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to help design a cafe for our front lobby.
That's fun, huh?
Because I was the designer, and that's just what you do, you know, when you're the designer. So it was really fun. Yeah.
Which typeface did you choose for the cafe? Something vintage?
For the cafe?
Yeah, like the cafe.
Oh, I didn't choose the wording, the lettering. No, it was just more the layout, everything in 3D and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I have Tobias's name up here. I need to speed up a little bit so we get going a little faster. One thing, command bracket left or right will move your designs backwards or forwards, which is a very useful feature.
use it all the time.
Yeah.
I never use the layer panel. Like I only use it if I'm lost. You know, sometimes I want to select something, okay, and then I open the layers panel.
Isn't that interesting? Because it used to be that if you didn't organize your layers in Photoshop, your developers all hated you, right? And it was just a pain in the butt, folders, everything. Nowadays, with XD, it's awesome because you don't have to think about that at all. That's one of the big differences is you get to focus just on the flow and the user interface, and it's so easy and fast that the idea of looking at your layers is few and far between, in my experience.
And I think it's the big difference in terms of, you were talking about UI between XD and Photoshop. Is XD is like Illustrator. So Illustrator is the same, you don't really care about layers. It's because you select an object, clicking on the object. You know, I select what I click. When in Photoshop, it's tricky, like you just select a pixel, and hopefully it will select the layer where the pixel is, but there is no rectangle, like you don't know what is selected. So that's why you have to be super organized. But with this tool, like this way of presenting information, just selecting objects, you don't really care. Actually, when we released the first beta version of XD, there was no layers panel at all.
No layers at all?
And I was only working with what you were showing, like bring to the top, you know, move forward and stuff. And it worked. And but then we had so many feature, like it was like the #1 feature request from the community. So
people
now we have layers.
It made them comfortable.
But they did a good job because we don't show, like if you open the layers panel, we don't show the layers of all the artboards or everything. So the layers are contextual to what you select.
Yeah.
So you're not like surrounded by 2,000 layers.
Yeah.
So it's a good compromise.
So I'm laying out now the lessons, right? This is these are the lessons that the kids will be working on, and I'm about to use the repeat grid magic, which is like my favorite feature. And as the kids work on these lessons, I want to give them a load bar so they can see how far into the lesson
that's good.
they are. The way it works is a kid could be practicing one of these lessons for more than one day. They don't get to move on and master it until they show proficiency in that lesson. So if they're still getting a lot wrong and they're doing double-digit addition, obviously they don't get to move on to multiplication or something. So the system has built-in intelligence, and we need to show the kid and the teacher kind of like, what's your progress? Are you almost there? Are you almost proficient yet? And it looks like someone in the chat was asking why we are not using colors. Is that what they were saying?
Are you adding any colors? Yeah, it's coming in.
So again, these are wireframes that we're working on right now. And wireframes are really meant to remove distractions from the designer so that they're not tempted, so you're not tempted to waste time making decisions about colors or gradients or anything like that. Instead, you're able to focus purely on structure. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. So it's grayscale, and we will add lots of fun colors very soon, but you have to stick with us and come back tomorrow as well. All right, so this looks like I need to get rid of some borders. Okay, so there's a load bar. Make that fill a little darker. Not that dark. Here we go. Okay, lesson name. So these are the active lessons that have been assigned to Tobias. I'm gonna use the grid magic. I'm gonna group this together, group. I'm gonna say repeat grid, and then I'm just gonna, so satisfying, right?
So good.
So great.
And Milan has a question about how to put image inside a shape. So it's a good question because it can be very confusing in XD actually. So maybe I will show you just 2 or 3 techniques that you can use tomorrow when you.
Sure.
Okay, so that's XD. So the first thing is that you can be tempted like this one, like to create a shape first, okay, with some rounded corners. And then if you drag and drop an image inside a shape, it will automatically fit, you know?
That's awesome.
So you can, after like double click, like to change the, you know, what you want to do. But that's basically the behavior.
That's great.
So he's saying, okay, what happens once my picture is here? So what I recommend is to work the other way. So it's to place the picture, And then on top of it, you create a shape. So no, it can be a rectangle, it can be like anything. So let's do something like this. See? Here we go, do something cute. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so you see I have one shape here that actually I will maybe refine because it looks a bit weird here. It's not really what I want. Okay, I just wanted something like this. So I will duplicate this shape and do this. And now you see where I'm going to. Okay. You can merge shape. Okay, and once you have your shape, it's like a terrible heart. Let's do it this way. So my advice is to select the shape plus the picture, and then you do Command Shift M, or Object Mask with Shape. Okay. What is awesome in XD is that this is non-destructive. So at any time I can come back, double click, and then move my picture inside the shape. And I can also, and that's what I like, I can edit the shape, okay, and completely destroy it, and then it will still work.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the big things that we didn't actually mention when someone asked, should I be working in Photoshop or XD, is one of the big differences with a vector-based program like XD, everything is non-destructive, meaning you're not committing to changing any pixels. You can always remove shapes, you can always move things around on the artboard. It creates a lot of flexibility if you change your mind on something. Where with Photoshop, if you draw with the the pencil tool, and you're committing pixels to the canvas, and you draw over it, and you put another shape over it, it's hard to go backwards from that. But with this, it's all very easy and non-destructive.
And then something you can resize. I mean, it's
Alana
easy.
says, that looks easier than Photoshop to me. Oh gosh, and she's right. It is a lot easier when you're doing UI design. And I think that's what's cool about using Photoshop and XD is now you can actually use Photoshop for what it was designed for, you know? Which is
retouch pictures.
Working with images, and you can use XD for the layout and the UI work. So I'm gonna keep going on here. We've got our lessons here now. One of the things I really wanted to keep on the screen was past accomplishments. So I'm gonna say completed lessons. We'll move this here. And then I'm gonna do some smaller boxes that show lessons that have been done, right? Maybe not, maybe a little less big so they don't take as much space. And since this is a wireframe, I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail of what those are gonna look like right now. They will have a title on them probably, and but we want them to look a little bit. We want them to look a little bit different than the active lessons. Oops. Okay. And let's just.
Mitch, if you want to resubmit your work, you can. We'd be happy to review your entry. You still have 30 minutes to submit your fashion blog, web experience. All the details are in the challenge tab. Why do we have to use control to order alert inside our symbols? Why can't you just drag and drop around like the rest of the layers inside a symbol? I'm not sure, Alan. I guess it's a limitation with symbols, but I'm not sure why.
What was the question?
Yeah, it's about apparently when you are inside the symbol, you cannot rearrange the layers with the layers panel.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's a limitation with symbols.
I'm going to use repeat grid here.
Riston is asking you, what do you think you're more proficient at? Is it UI or UX? So you're saying you're more a UI designer, considering yourself as UI?
I would say so, yeah. When I get around like a real UX designer, I realize like, oh, I'm not really a UX designer in the way that this person is, who's actually doing, you know, the personas and the user research and the usability testing and all that stuff. Okay, So now we have completed lessons down here. I'm going to reduce that opacity a little bit just so they're not quite as loud. And then I'm also going to add at the bottom here, I'm going to add just something to kind of ground these elements at the bottom. And maybe we'll, let's see, let's take the border off of it. Let's move it down a bit. And one of the things that we talked about that I really want to do is to have the card, that reward card, if you remember, these reward cards that kids are earning. I want that visible all the time. And so I'm actually going to draw it right here. And I'm going to make it visible as something the kid can work towards earning. So I'm going to put a shadow on it so it's dimensional. So it's and also they could interact with this card and look at the details to kind of get excited about it, that kind of thing. Put this here.
I see Eric is asking for feedback on his portfolio. So by the way, tomorrow we will do portfolio reviews. So make sure to tune in tomorrow. Submit a link to your Behance portfolio, especially if you are a UI UX designer, of course. If you're an architect, it will be hard for us to give feedback, but we'll be happy. So it will be at the end of the show tomorrow to do live portfolio reviews.
Okay, so this will be the card that they're working on, and I also want to go.
Oh, I like this idea.
I want to say how many days are like left on here. So I'll say.
Oh, they have a time limit.
Yeah, so like it's
you cannot be lazy.
Number of practice sessions will equal. So I'm gonna say 3 days left.
Go.
Exclamation
should be red.
Point.
I know it will be red.
Red. No color.
3 days.
It's wireframed.
It's alarming.
We're not allowed. You have to resist the urge. Oops. Okay, so I'll say 3 days left. This is to encourage them to work on their card. One thing, I mean, if you have a blank box that's kind of a placeholder in a wireframe, one of the methods is you can do, you put like an X over the top of it that kind of represents that something will come there later. So we can do that. Oops. And I want to move this stuff in front. Okay, so there's our card. We're going to do, in the actual design portion, we're going to encourage kids to click on this card a little more than what we're just doing here in the wireframe. And then I'm going to add that back button, which would take them out of this flow and back to kind of that login screen, right? And then I'm also going to add, we have a character. His name is Drago.
Oh, Drago.
Not to be confused with Drogo.
Oh, Drago was the one playing with the progress bar.
Yeah. This where's their Drago?
It's not Drogo from Games of
Yeah, right. I know.
That would be fun.
That was the first thing I said when
that would be some pressure for the kids.
Drago was the he just looks at you and intimidates you into finishing your math practice. So Drago's going to be here. I don't want to get into like adding a colored graphic there for now. So I'm going to put a placeholder here, which I like to do, where I'll just go like, you know, this with a little body. Okay. So that's going to be Drago. Drago is going to be hanging out there. It looks like a keyhole. Okay, I'll add a tail. So just so we have there. Here's Drago's tail. Okay. Okay. Looks like we have another question there.
So yeah, from Tamara, to understand UX more. So if the company I'm working asks me to create a web page, can I just work on XD instead of coding? No, so XD will be the design phase, I would say, and it will help you like make sure that the stakeholders, like the managers of this company, for instance, they approve the design, all the pages, the typeface, the pictures. Like you can really like put all the elements and maybe start with the wireframe. That's usually what we recommend. say on this page, we will display this information. Here there will be a picture. Then stage 2, still in XD, you put the picture, the typeface, the colors, and you make sure that they approve everything. And once everything is approved, then you can export all the individual assets and work in on the web page. So either you know HTML, CSS, you know everything, and you can directly code the experience, or you can ask for a developer to help you, or you can use tools such as Dreamweaver, or more like we build a web page for you without knowing code perfectly. But XD, you won't have like a button saying export to HTML. That maybe one day. But usually you want to use your own JavaScript libraries. You want to add some CSS transitions. I mean, you want to customize the experience.
Yeah, and I know that some of the competitors of XD, other products, they claim to kind of have a one-button export. My experience is that rarely turns out well.
I'm sure you can.
You can do it, and you'll get something that has HTML in it. A lot of
times, get the HTML page, that's for sure.
A lot of times it's not very flexible and it's not responsive.
Exactly. Today it has to be responsive. You have to test all the browsers. There are so many constraints. Developing for the web is really something so specific today. It changes every 6 months. I don't expect the tool to just in one button.
I mean maybe someday. But someone asked if you could export this to Dreamweaver.
You can export easily anything in XD in just one click. So I can show you maybe just
not the whole design though. You're not just exporting the HTML to Dreamweaver, right?
So what you can do, like when you have a web page such as this one, you can reselect anything. So let's say this logo, and you can do File, Export what is selected. So it's Command E or Control E on Windows. And then you choose if you want to export. So I would recommend in this case for the web, and say that you design at 1x. So if it's vector, it will multiply it by 2 to manage high density screens such as Retina display. So you can export PNG, SVG, or JPEG. There is PDF too, but it won't be useful for the web. So select anything and just do Command E. So let's say that on this page you want to export this, and you don't want to every time, like if you change something, so okay, Command E, Command E, Command E. So you can go to the Layers panel and select something and say, okay, this is ready for batch export. This I want to export it to. This button, ready for batch export.
So it adds it to the queue of
so you flag what you want to export to your developer. Okay, so let's say this, I want to export this. And after you say File, Export Batch.
Yep.
It will export everything that you flagged in one click.
That's great. As PNG?
Oh, you choose. Huh?
You choose. Okay.
PNG for the web, so it will multiply by 2, and that's it.
Oh, to do, that's great.
If it's for iOS, then it will multiply by 2 and 3. Super easy.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to refer back to that flowchart that we made to see the flow. Right now we've got the home page, we've got our 2 login methods, choosing your name, and then we have the home screen here. If I look back, that should mimic what we've set up here.
Okay, let's make sure that the flow is still on.
Which it does. So we've got our login page, home, school, the 2 methods, choose your name, and then the home and lessons combined. So it's great because it looks like we're staying on track. You can see I even try and lay this stuff out similarly. So if you see this layout, right, it's the same as this layout for the most part.
Good job.
I do this stuff up here, and I think that's one of the things. It's when you have unlimited canvas space, you have to kind of develop your own method of how you're going to organize and arrange. I tend to flow things left to right until they become a new section. So here we're going login left to right because you go here, you go here, you go here. And then here starts a new section. So now this is the home section that leads to other pages, and we'll flow left to right and then top to bottom as we add additional artboards that are linked off of it. So for example, the profile page, the lesson player, and choosing your card, I'll stack those up vertically here. And if there's anything that needs to go deeper, I'll move from left to right. And I think that's a nice way to visually organize things with hierarchy.
Yeah.
And I think it's important with XD because you have the freedom to do that. And so as you walk someone through your design, you can actually, and you'll probably have to do this, you can start here and then go, okay, someone goes here and goes here and goes here. You can also use the prototyping tool, obviously, but sometimes this is easier. So I have this synced up now. School login. Great, cool. Oh, I didn't, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna log this, I'm gonna connect this to here.
And I think Herbert had a question because he's new to XD, so he's saying, oh, just to make sure, so it's just to design the experience, but you cannot export like a full app. Yeah, so that's it. So one trick that you can remember is 3D. So 3D is something that we use in our consulting agencies. It's to express the three steps. Sometimes you will see 4D, but I prefer 3D, which is discover. So this is what you did with the design audit, some user research, like you tried really to understand the full experience, who is the audience, what type of interaction worked with this audience. So that's discover, like you did a lot of interviews, a lot of research. Then design, so that's what he's doing now with the wireframe and the next, and then you will validate some points. Then you will bring the UI elements, the colors, graphics, so that's still design. And the third D is develop. So this is when you have to, or deliver, like you have to hand off the experience to developers, communicate a lot with the designers, and that's the final stage. So XD is be useful for the two first stages. So discover and design. Discover because that's what you did actually. It's awesome, like the flow chart. You use XD to put you can put a mood board, you can put screenshots of competitive applications, everything in the same project. So discover, design, but for develop, then on the web it will be a specific platform. Someone was mentioning Bootstrap. On iOS it will be completely different skills. Android completely different. So don't expect one tool to cover everything.
Right. So, I think I was surprised how the discover phase and doing the research, XD is great for that because you just have a big canvas you can work with. You can kind of do whatever you want. And I know a lot of people use other types of tools or flowchart tools or Google Draw, but XD works really good for that. So it's so light and it's so flexible and it's so fast that it's not cumbersome at all. Like trying to do that stuff in Photoshop would be very difficult.
No,
doing it here is perfect, right?
And XD is fast. Have an example that we did for our boosted boards. We used XD to design their new, I think it was the mobile website or something.
Oh, cool.
And actually, it's our benchmark file now. Every time we add a new feature, we make sure that it's still fast, because here I have
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you can So if I can still do this,
That's amazing.
Move around and having 1,500 artboards open.
1,500 artboards.
And so every time we add a new feature, we make sure that this file is still performing.
Wow, it's so fast too.
Otherwise, we go back to developers and say, you have to optimize your code.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Wow. Adobe Cadabra, I like it. Okay, cool. I like all this. People are amazed by that. I'm amazed by that.
Yeah,
I mean, the biggest I've ever had would be, between 100 and 150.
Oh, that's already something.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I thought that was huge. It's amazing that it's pretty much unlimited how fast you can keep adding to it.
Yeah, and they keep optimizing it. They don't give up. They say, so every time I want to make SD faster, I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Great. So let me go over this now that I have this wireframe somewhat complete, and this is really kind of the main screen that kids will be in when they're choosing things. So we've got a few things, and we'll work when we get into the actual design. But from the top to bottom, they see their name. We're gonna have a cool avatar there for them. They see how many total minutes they've practiced in the app, and so that'll just kind of keep a score. Eventually, we probably are gonna add like a star store or something like that where they get points for those minutes practiced. Right now, it's just gonna show them a total. And then they've got their assigned lessons, which the teacher has assigned them, so they can click on one of those and go in and start playing it. And then they've got completed lessons, so anything that they've completed will show up down here, and they can just scroll from
That's nice.
from the left to the right and
you
see
feel
all their
good about
accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what was missing from one of the big things that's missing here is I would watch kids work really hard to complete one of these, and then when they were done, it would just disappear, and they didn't get to see their accomplishment, right? So that's what we're accomplishing here. And then we're showing whatever card reward they're working on, we're showing it so it's always an incentive here with the big 3 days left that maybe...
Yeah, is it the thing in a gel or something, in a cage or something? I've just seen on the previous design. There was something in the, like here.
Oh yeah, so here they have the reward that you're working on. It's like a present in like a cage. That's probably left over from, Classhero didn't always used to be card-based. It used to be like where they could earn other prizes and things.
Okay.
For now though, that's we've really honed in on the
it's cool
use
to
of
have
cards.
It's cool to have a character like this because you can also imagine a video game
exactly
with the same character at some point. Yeah, like
plushie toy. Maybe.
Oh my God, you would do a mathematic app where this type of game, but like where if you finish an exercise, it unlocks a level of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would finish all the exercise in one day.
Just to get to those lessons, right?
Just to play the next levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine to combine Angry Birds with like you unlock level of Angry Birds if you finish the lessons.
I love it.
That would work.
So let's start. So one of the things I like to do is I like to group something and then I lock it down. So if I'm going to do an overlay on top of something and I don't want to accidentally be clicking on things, I'll group it and then I will lock it. And you see now we can draw on top of it and we're not going to accidentally select it.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
I'm going to steal one of these windows from up here.
Hi, Orintuya. Thanks for joining. Did you make the template? Yeah, you can watch the replay, but he designed everything.
Yeah.
Everything from scratch.
Yep.
And that's a wireframe so far. So if you come back tomorrow, Orintuya, you will see that he will start working on the visual elements, add some colors, add some dragons.
That's right.
Add some characters from Games of Thrones.
Right.
The mountain.
Drago and the mountain.
If you don't finish your exercise,
the mountain will crush your skull.
Crush your eyes.
Crush your eyes, yeah.
All the kids are freaking out at school.
Fear-based motivation really works well for grades pre-K through 5th. So,
You found that? I would be surprised.
It's probably true now they say it out loud. So this is going to be the my profile screen, right? Let's see. And I'm looking at, I'd like to sketch out my wireframe, so
yeah, we can use the GoPro shot.
Oh yeah.
It's a new technology, like just because we're in the Silicon Valley, you know. Okay, let's see what happens. It's reversed. Okay, that's happens.
Yeah, I do these wireframes that they're not fancy at all. They're not beautiful, but they help me know what I'm designing before I commit them to a page. So you can see I've got kind of the modals and the pop-ups and all that, right?
Nice.
Here's the one that I'm going to be working on, which is this little profile image, right?
Samantha.
Yeah, for Samantha. Okay.
Great.
So I'm going to grab her. Well, we're not going to do Samantha. We're going to do Tobias.
You have 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left to submit your fashion blog, web design.
Fashion blog. And then I'm going to put Tobias's
we have some entries.
info here.
Have you worked in the past for a customer in the fashion industry? No?
Well, the company I used to work for, they owned, I started another company called Soulstruck, which was buying online shoes. Really,
shoes.
Some of them really crazy.
Okay, crazy design.
Crazy design, expensive spikes, metal, glass.
Oh, yeah, I see.
High-end
exactly.
designer shoes.
Yeah.
Really fun, and they actually had a store in Portland as well. So some experience. I didn't do a lot of design work for them. They were kind of independent, but they were doing lookbooks and hiring, models and going to fashion shows and everything. Yeah, pretty fun. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating. If you, I'll show you guys. Yesterday, on this home screen, we're showing the home login information for kids, and we don't need to see it all the time, right? Most kids, their teachers are going to provide this home login to their parents, or email it to them or print it.
Yeah.
But we do want to have it somewhere in the kids' profile when they log in, so they can access it if they need to. Because some teachers will have their students, write down their home login information. So I'm just adding this here.
And a nice thing, Balenciaga, all caps. Okay, yeah, like, did you work for them or?
For what?
Maybe she did.
Oh,
Balenciaga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like she's like, Balenciaga.
So we'll just say, Josh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's good. That's easy to find for the parents too,
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Let's go big. Maybe we'll make this regular. So it's not beautiful. It's not beautiful, people, but it will work for what we need. Oops.
That's
Okay.
good.
It's fine for now.
Mhm.
Okay, so that'll be their home profile information. And what else did I want to do? I actually wanted to put a little message down here to kids, if they can read. Otherwise, they're probably not going to be looking at the screen. Write this down to log in to Classhero at home. So this is assuming the child could read and that they have the kind of competency to actually do this at home. I'm
trying to find a way, like how they could, save it or.
Oops.
Because that's their iPad, right? Oh no. Oh no.
It gets left at school.
No.
That's
so
the
when they
tricky
use it
part.
at home, they use the browser.
Yeah, exactly. So at home they'll use a browser, or their own iPad or anything like that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna make that size 18, and then I'm just gonna do like an arrow that points up to this so the kids know, hey, you're supposed to be looking at this. Again, doesn't have to be perfect or beautiful at this point, although some people do want their wireframes to be beautiful, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's new. We discussed it.
Yeah, we
yesterday.
discussed it yesterday. This idea that all wireframes must
Must
be
be perfect.
ready
and
for
clean.
your Behance profile. Which it is nice if you have this ready. So that's an ugly arrow, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's
we'll
cool.
just leave it now. And then we're gonna put our back.
It's for
button.
kids.
It's for kids. It doesn't
It can be
matter,
ugly.
right? Okay. So now we have the profile page. Okay, let's see what's next on our flow. And actually, let me sync this up. Prototype. I'm gonna say, if someone clicks on their name up here, we'll take them here. Okay,
Okay.
great.
This could be a good use case of an overlay.
Of an overlay
Yeah, actually.
of showing the profile.
Yeah, that could be a use case, but yeah, we can work on it.
Oh,
You
no,
know- you
yeah.
see what I mean?
Actually, let me show you guys how to do that right now. So there's two ways to do these connections.
Yeah, we can show it two ways. It's interesting.
One is screen by screen. So what I did here is, and I'll
Yeah,
push
you
play.
duplicated the screen. So
I just duplicated the whole screen. If you click on here, it
Yeah.
just fades it out. So it's a
it's nice. I mean, it
basic
works.
effect. Another way to do that though is to actually take
So it would be you need to create another artboard. Yeah,
another
exactly.
artboard. I'm gonna group all this together.
You
And this.
can. Yeah.
Oops.
Or you could remove the background. You know.
Yeah, and then I'll remove the background. Oops, I forgot I locked the background, didn't I?
You should have an icon to go back to the design view,
Oh, yeah, right.
and there should be an icon to unlock it, like a tiny icon. I don't see it, so it's not locked. Here we go. You see?
There we go.
If you
See
click on
this
the tiny icon.
There we go. Okay.
Right.
And then we just have no fill for the
Yeah.
background.
You're a pro.
And then now, so I'm going to break this connection point at prototype. I'm going to say, I actually want it to be an overlay.
Yeah, but
I'm going to connect it to this artboard, and you guys will see the magic.
And if you...
What should I do?
Dissolve, or maybe swipe up just for the fun.
Slide up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you drag and drop the green stuff, it will show you a preview of where you want to position the overlay. So centered is what you want.
Centered is what I want. So that's one easy way. If I made this artboard smaller than the other artboard, I'd have to drag it around and move it. If I make it the same size, I can position the elements just where I want them, which is nice. So now if we go and hit play, look at that, very cool.
You click anywhere, it will come back. What?
Is that a setting? Is that a setting?
Maybe there's an interaction on this one. Still no? No. I don't see anything. So sometimes what I do is Command A, just to make sure there is nothing weird. Okay, so what do we have? We have the back button, this. Oh no, that should be...
It was a leftover connection, you know? I rehooked it up, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
You have to do a new connection. Yeah. I don't have that back button set up.
It's supposed to move out.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, these are the two ways.
Yeah.
Like for pop-ups and stuff, it's just
will it
a cool way to add animations.
Will it register the background then if I want it like a darkened background behind it? Can I make this artboard's background transparent?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. How do I get my toolbar back?
Which one? You're in prototype, so maybe you want
I'm in prototype.
Go back to this.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks for showing that. Just to
rookie mistake.
To show the difference.
Yeah. So I'm actually gonna let me put a fill on here, and then I'll turn the opacity down.
And you have about 2-3 minutes to submit your challenge entry. Fashion blog web design today. I'm excited.
See there. It adds the transparent background.
Yeah, you need a dissolve. Okay.
Very cool.
Not the best.
Very cool.
Because you have a slider. That's okay. That's a nice interaction. It was introduced in June, I think.
Yeah.
2 hours is not for a challenge. I know. That's why it's a challenge. But you submitted your entry, David. I just saw entry here.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. I think also the purpose of this challenge is just to give a live critique, some feedback, what you can improve easily. It's just...
There's no pressure.
That's the point.
Right. Okay. I'm going to start working on this screen now, which is our...
The card? No.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted the cards.
Screen where we actually play the game.
Oh.
That's kind of meaty. It's kind of a bigger... It's a bigger screen, but we should start in on it. I'm gonna put our back.
Do you want to keep like these gears that activates a machine?
Yeah, I think we're gonna. So there's actually we're probably gonna use that system for gears, as well as instead of gears, we'll do connection points on a path, and have a character that moves up a path.
Oh, yeah, that was.
So we're gonna reuse the same system for multiple types of interactions. And I think the path will be a little more engaging because, you could see the character moving up with each and every question kind of thing.
Yeah, it can be fun. Like maybe you could have like on the path an obstacle, like a boss.
Yeah.
And if you finish the exercise,
yeah, for sure.
It's a Drago, so you can like use fire.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we're doing. We're reworking this page, which had a number of issues. One was that this timer system is a little confusing. The sizing of these objects is kind of odd, and then we're just going to be kind of cleaning up the whole thing, right? So I know right off the bat that one of the things I want to do is to have this sidebar area, because we kind of need that for putting those gears and the claw and the reward.
The progress.
Yes, yeah. Actually, I'm going to make this part white. I'll make it a light color, and then I'll make the background a little bit. Is fill with a darker background. Okay. And then I'm going to put a question in the middle here. So let me zoom in. And I'm going to say, let's see, I had written down some of these question types. See there, these are like...
It's a GoPro shot.
Oh, sure.
These are the questions?
Yeah, so there's these interactions where you have to like drag the shape to the different boxes or match the shapes. Yeah, anything like that. So you'd put the star in the star hole and the square into the square hole and that kind of thing. There's also matching numbers, so you're dragging the correct number in the right sequence, right? I like the sound effects. Not only does Michael have an amazing voice, he does sound effects as well, which is... So I'm gonna
It's time up for the challenge submission. So we start reviewing them in 5 minutes. I will let you create the layout on the screen.
Okay.
I will load all the entries and let you know when I'm ready.
Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, it looks like some feedback on that. Jan Eric says the butterfly is heavy. It's heavy with all the unfulfilled dreams of spring.
Oh, he's a poet from Scandinavia. You know, Eric.
Okay. Yeah. Oops. So I'm going to start designing out this little interaction, which will be drag the numbers into the correct order. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make these look like they're missing the center, add the border, maybe just a tiny bit of fill. Actually, maybe a darker fill. Maybe that.
Okay.
So they look kind of like they're void. Can you do inset shadows with?
No.
Nope. Okay.
You can just drop a shadow outside. There is no inset shadow.
Okay. So I'll put one in place so that the kids know that there's one already done. I'll add a 1.
And so Balenciaga, she was like, Balenciaga, you remember?
Yeah.
Because they release sneakers that are crazy, so she thought you were talking about the sneakers.
Well, maybe did she shop at Soulstruck, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe she was a Soulstruck customer, I don't know. So I'm gonna put these down here. I'm gonna do 3 here, just to throw the kids off. Can't put them in the correct order. Oops. I'm gonna put 2 here. Oops. 4 here. And then maybe I'll put a 5 in just to really throw them off.
-1. Just to discuss them. And they're like, okay, I'm done. I don't get it.
I don't understand anything. And one of the things I've learned just by researching kids apps too is that, things that you want them to interact with, setting them like off kilter a little bit kind of indicates they could be picked up.
Oh yeah.
And the way that actually I worked with our developer to design where once they put them in place like this, they like snap into place. And that's a nice little interaction. And you can even have things kind of overlapping a little bit.
Yeah, you can do a feedback also, like it can vibrate a little bit,
Yeah,
what was the name?
The haptic
the
feedback,
haptic feedback when you put it in the right spots or when you fell. Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So then we would say, what numbers come next?
Apparently there is a feature request for inner shadows on user voice. Thanks, team.
There you go. Go to user voice, vote for what you want.
I want blend modes. That's what I want. I want multiply, overlay. I want my blend modes.
Your blend, me too.
That's what I want in XD.
I was looking for that actually because I would use a multiply overlay here or something like that. One other thing we could do to make these boxes look like they need to be filled would be even to put like a little dashed border, which is kind of nice too. Okay.
Oh yeah, nice.
Right? We got to have our back button as well. And then I really think maybe you guys could help me out on the chat I want a way to show the progress that they're making for this session. And I know that we need to have some sort of a timer. So I'm gonna put a timer here, but the timer isn't, it's not, I mean, the countdown timer is actually a little more stress inducing than like, you know, showing the kid progress, which is more of a positive type interaction. So I'm gonna have a timer here counting down, but I think there needs to be a load bar, like a progress bar somewhere too. I'm thinking of putting it maybe here, maybe at the bottom here. Maybe this shows like their progress, you know?
Yeah.
How much they have left.
Like it.
If anyone else has any ideas, you can let me know.
And someone is asking how to save my gradients. So I can quickly show you.
Yeah, for it.
It's not that obvious. So when you design, I'm disconnected.
Yeah.
Paco, can we switch to my screen? So, okay, so when you design a gradient, okay, let's speak to this here. There we go. And you want to save this. I'm using personally the asset panel. So I open the asset panel on the left and I click here. Okay, so it's saving my border color and also what is inside, which is a gradient. So why it's cool is that if you have like multiple objects, including this one, okay, you just have to select it to apply it. But what's nice is that if someone you're showing so you really bet on this gradient and someone is not convinced and say, okay, I need something warmer, you can still say edit here. And then it becomes like a global color. So if I go for something warmer, it will change it everywhere. Like even if I use it like 100 times, then it will just change it in real time, which I really appreciate on all my screens.
Yeah.
So
especially picture, you know, a document with 50 screens and you need to upgrade. The client says, oh, we don't like that grading
and you don't want to click on all of them.
Oh man.
So yeah, make
That's
sure
a lifesaver.
to really utilize the gradients.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like my cousin was watching. He just ducked
Really?
out. He said bye. Wyston Warmack there. Hey, Jake.
Oh, I know. He was asking some questions before. Yeah.
That's funny. Awesome. Amazing musician, that guy. So, so I'm going to add a load bar here on the bottom. And I had this concept that, so if you remember from that other screen, as you progress, you get these gears, and they get added over here.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice to somehow show the kids like, this is where you're going to get your next gear, kind of thing, so they know kind of what that next step in the progress looks like. Let me get rid of that. If you double, this is just a side note, but if you have a point that's like this, and you want to get rid of that handle and make it just a clean, you know, right angle, you just double click the point and it disappears.
It would break
it converts it to a straight edge. And if I double click it again, it converts it back to a curved. So that's a nice feature that I use a lot. So I had this concept that maybe we'll show kind of like, oh, you're almost at the point where you'll earn your next gear by showing something like this. You know, where we're not showing everyone, but we're showing like, hey, your next gear is going to happen
stage
here.
One, stage,
Yeah, because that's something I've observed watching the kids use this is they don't know when they're going to earn their next gear, and that, you know, that's kind of
that makes sense.
It's encouraging them like, hey,
it's a good incentive.
Keep going. This little load bar will move a tiny bit every time they answer a question, and then once they get here, they'll get their gear added right there. Okay.
Cool. Do you want to review some design?
Yeah.
From our friends?
Let's do it.
Okay, so today they had a template that looked like this, actually, with more options. So it was designed for a tribute to Bauhaus design. So we want them to reuse the template, just change whatever they want, but to target the fashion industry. So we have Zach, of course, the king of dark modes. It's something in black and white. For Nîmes.
Upholding his title in all dark mode.
Oh, nice.
Wow,
I
very
like
nice
this.
layout.
I like this, yeah. It's very playful, like a lot of dynamism. Text on picture, in this case, works very well. That's the, and then some colors. Cool.
It's great.
Yeah, that's great. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have tried this line space, but I mean, why not? It creates some composition.
It's interesting, yeah. I mean, I think typically for readability, that line spacing is pretty extreme. But I think in certain instances you can do it, and it can work okay.
Ding! Good job.
Very nice.
Okay, I think it's Jake who shared this one. Falling into... Did you get it?
I get it.
Fall. Did you get it?
The puns.
The puns.
Is it good with the puns?
Okay, so someone was asking, can I do a web design with XD? Here's a proof. So that's the hero image, hero picture at the top, about the blogger, I guess. Click to read more. The call to action is very easy to discover. Yeah, and
yeah, I think I would go that bright or that kind of mustard yellow box over on the right. I would go kind of conservative with adding those big chunky colors when you've already got a primary color, which is that kind of pumpkin orange, right?
Yeah.
To add that kind of mustardy yellow in, now it's just making me hungry for dinner talking about foods, but it could be a little jarring when really the call to action is, are those orange buttons, and now your eyes kind of bounce back and forth between the two. So I think toning that down a little could really help kind of the layout feel a little more cohesive. And
he designed another page actually with, what's the name? A mosaic of pictures, fashion favorites.
Yeah.
And good picture here. Yeah.
It's nice. Overall, I would say let things breathe a little bit.
Yeah, even your logo is...
your padding,
your identity
logo.
is a bit stretched.
That's a lot of times that's beginner designers. The main thing I'm like, just let everything breathe like twice as much as you normally would, and you'll be amazed how much cleaner your design looks. So if you add double the padding and spacing everywhere, that design will suddenly look a lot more chic.
Here it could breathe. Here you see the...
yeah, all that tight padding and margin is...
Here.
Yep, let everything breathe.
But good theme, good visual direction.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
For sure.
Here, Afrojab Parveen, where are you from, Afrojab? You're from Bangladesh. Wow, it's very late there.
Yeah.
Thanks for... So, yeah, it's full on fashion. Fashion for almost avatars. Look at that. Fashion photography, mood board, fashion blog with a color code. Okay, so it looks more like a flyer, like something that you would print to promote the blog. Like it's not something you would expect on the web. So it's more like graphic design work. And actually, this is how you flagged it. So I guess it's intentional.
Okay.
Then web design. So it would be interesting for you, Afrojab. It would be a good exercise to see how this graphic design would translate into web design. So what can you keep? Maybe the typeface. Would this work? Have the same energy on the web? I don't think so. It's stencil, so it makes sense for print, stencil fonts, but on the web can be edgy. So yeah, that would be a good exercise.
Yeah, I think overall, I think the colors, it looks like you probably picked the colors from the photo.
The color
so
theme.
You're kind of grabbing the theme there. But, again, less is more, less fonts, less colors. You'd be amazed if you could pick one or two colors or one or two fonts, how much cleaner everything will look. That's usually my suggestion when things get a little busy. You've got all these colors up here, and then you've got below that, you've got the butterfly, which just kind of adds to the noise. So,
actually, with it's a good practice too, also to exercise black and white only. Like Zach.
For sure.
Because you really need to pay attention, as you said, to space, typography, hierarchy, and if black and white or shades of gray, if it works, then you can start working with colors. It's also a good exercise. Then we have this one. I love this movie, this crazy character.
Gatu World.
It's in Zoolander, I think.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
This is great.
Is there?
There's Derek.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I like that.
That's so cool.
This is the fashion blog for Gatu.
Really.
Oh, wow, look at that, yeah.
Nice. I like this. I like actually articles where you can insert quotes. It's a little bit massive. I like when it's more elegant, and also I like when it's inside the text, as a divider. Usually it's also it's a beautiful trick. Here it's a little bit massive, like I only see the quote almost, and I forget the text. So maybe I will go something more subtle.
I would say too, just on your typography, you know, that article below, down here, there's a certain length of line that there's kind of a max character limit per line that feels readable, because your eyes lose track when you have to go all the way back to start the next line. And this probably exceeds that by about, I don't know, 15 or 20%.
Yeah,
there's an optimal line length, and this is a little too long, and I think you want to remember that.
Yeah, this book is amazing.
Yeah.
By Jason Santamaria.
Oh, it's by a book apart, yeah.
Yeah, it's called On Web Photography, and we get all these tricks, like how many words or characters are expecting for one line, which side you should use. He's also giving like CSS tricks, you know, once you are in the development phase. Great book. Like,
that's great.
You learn a lot.
Did you ever read A List Apart?
Oh, A List Apart.
Jason Santamaria, and there's a couple other authors, and that was my favorite back in.
It was a great community of writers. Yeah,
it was really
really pioneers when it came to CSS.
Yep,
it's very fun. I mean, it's very fun. I like the theme.
Yeah,
I like this. This I like a lot. Like,
a lot of it's the typography. Could be the layout is actually
is
very nice.
Strong. Yeah.
I think the typography and the colors could you keep working on it.
Okay, Darrell De La Cruz from South San Jose Hills. Oh, actually, we're neighbors, not too far. Okay, fashion blog. So maybe if I click here, yes.
Oh, nice.
Wow, yeah.
It's pretty.
You see? Black and white, one accent color.
Yeah.
It's already super clean.
It's very bold. I like the super high contrast. I don't always like the super high contrast. But this looks really nice, and the spacing is really good. The typography is really good. You see how much white space there is in the left margin, though.
And I guess that's
all
a
around.
prototype. Yeah,
that's nice, right?
The interactive prototype that is directly embedded on Behance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
I can show
really
you
nice.
Tomorrow how to do it.
The one thing that I would be a little hesitant about would be using floods of red, because red's a color that on the screen, it's a very hot color.
Oh, here you mean.
And it can really kind of hurt your eyes after a while. I mean, for 5 or 10 seconds, it's great.
But
if
once
you want to read a whole article,
in the reading experience, you mean it's too much?
You're going to look away from the screen, and you're going to see a red imprint. And so I think that would be my only comment. Maybe once you get into that article, maybe you tone that red down and it becomes black or something.
I really like the typography work on this one.
Yes.
Actually, Jason in his book is speaking about when to use serif font versus sans serif for readability on the web, which is very different from print.
Yeah.
But here it's a good example, like very easy to add style, just using a serif font for the headline with capital, like in all caps, and then a sans serif when you have to read. And I like this also, like, okay, you will spend 6 minutes. It's just
that's really nice.
An invitation to read everything. I like it.
Yeah.
Very good job. Nude fashion blog. Okay.
Are we going to be able to look at this whole thing?
I hope it has been reviewed and moderated before us. Wow, okay. Very creative layout. Categories coming soon. Great pictures.
Oh, and a side vertical navigation.
Look at that. With fixed elements. So this is something we can show, but
it's an advanced prototype,
very advanced. So you can pick elements in XD. It's like, for instance, this title, this navigation bar, and this picture, and say that they are fixed. So if I scroll,
really
they don't move. And that's what's happening here. Just playing with layers, going on top and stuff. It's very advanced, like super professional. I will just go through the pages to make sure I didn't forget one. Here we go. Very nice.
Yeah, it's great. I really like and I would actually say, and it's something I'm not very good at, it's really hard to do this new style of kind of off-grid overlapping elements. It's hard to do it well, and this does it very well. So who is this that did it? Or does it not have names up there?
We can find the name.
Oh, okay, but yeah, great job, whoever did it. It looks great.
Yeah. Then fashion fade still internal, okay. Okay, read more. Okay, playing with the grid also.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, this picture, because it's
I think it's the billboard is right outside my.
It's a friend, Claudia de Almeida. She designed this. I saw it on her Instagram. Like,
Wow.
She worked on the typeface and stuff.
It's all over. Yeah.
She designed the typeface.
You designed the typeface.
Yeah.
the whole typeface?
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I like this. This
a
I'm not
new one, right?
convinced. Like
Yeah.
this is like catching my eye. I'm like, oh, why do I need this big close button?
What does it take you? Does it close?
I don't know.
Is that a modal or?
Yeah, no. Like it doesn't do anything, but I'm having a hard time understanding what this is for. But you would just remove this, you know?
Yeah.
It's very clear
The
for me.
layout's really
3
good.
articles, just an invitation. I see some eyes. Always be careful, like when you cut heads. That's but here it's. It worked in France like 2 centuries ago. Like we were cutting heads, but like in web design, you need to be careful.
Good for the French Revolution, bad for web design.
Bad for web design.
Yeah.
Should be in my book. You know, I should be like that. I should do like Jason and publish a book about my tips for web design. Don't cut heads. And cloth rag. Yeah, okay. Completely different mood. Black and white. Okay.
More of the kind of. So this is
Very long title here. It's very hard
I
to
would say that exceeds the line length.
try to condense it. It's hard to read.
The type here again. That's kind of similar commentary from some of the others. You need to let that text breathe. Like more line height, more spacing between the elements. Like here, you can't tell those things on the right side. You can't really tell what button goes with what.
Yeah, exactly. It's too close to this one.
It's closer to the bottom title than the top paragraph, and it's not. You want to group elements together.
This divider is really cool. Like I really like it. Like it's a nice surprise. I read it. I am having fun, and I jump to a different section. It's a very nice way to set the tone of the blog. I really like it. Here the spacing is weird. Like it's hard to read.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of ideas. I really like the atmosphere. Just a little bit of typography work. Like if a typeface designer sees this, he would just kill you. So it's But beside that, I like I'm in the mood. Like the choice of pictures, the jokes. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so this is really based on the template.
Okay.
With fixed elements, very good job, very clean. So this is using Melanie templates, but using this purple blue color.
Is this pretty close to the?
Yeah, it's pretty close to the template, but
okay, nice, yeah.
So
I like that kind of
clean.
I don't know what you'd call it. What kind of blue would you call that?
Electric blue.
Slap in the face blue.
Yeah, vibrant electric blue.
Electric blue. Yeah, that's nice.
Whoa, it says whoa.
What was that for?
Oh, that's Melanie. A link to Melanie.
Ah, okay, nice.
That's a trick from Melanie.
That's a trick to get you to go to his website.
Yeah, I hope it was a good exercise to reuse Melanie's work. And can we switch to the full screen camera? Maybe we receive one more. Just want to make sure I didn't forget one. 3 more. Oh my God. You are on fire. Okay, we need to be super fast. Although we have until 58, right, Paco?
Yep.
Okay.
4 minutes. Yeah, we got time.
Okay, let's do it. Wow, look at this beauty.
Oh, that's nice.
Bigger, better, faster, stronger. Be careful with contrast here. The faster is a little bit melted, and you want something strong.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, that is nice.
The menu here.
The overlay box could potentially work without any opacity. It could just be a solid white or light green box too.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to be careful about readability.
About, okay.
Nice.
So I'm trying to see where I can click. So I guess it's
Is
the
it
about.
just those two, yeah? Oh, there, okay.
Here we go.
Oh, cool. Well, that's nice.
And you see how it's, what you were saying, how there is space.
Yeah.
Everything is breathing.
You don't feel claustrophobic. It's nice.
Yeah. We are fashion, so using a Didon font, with a lot of contrast. You see the A? So it's typical from like Didot or Didon typefaces, and it's really to express luxury. So it's a very good choice.
Yeah, I like that green, that you said that kind of forest green too. That's great.
Yeah.
Very nice, elegant.
Very elegant. Okay, what's next? Okay, so using the template 2, this module is an intro to the full article.
So no imagery on this one.
Yeah, maybe
more of a
maybe they only had a few minutes.
Yeah. I think they're working up to the deadline.
Oh, that's the transformation. Or maybe that's the before and
okay,
after.
Okay, yeah.
So the title is here, okay.
Got the Sin City font, maybe. Is that
Yeah.
what that is? Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Very nice picture. Would you group this more? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, and I also, things, I would say just general feedback is things feel a little disconnected.
Okay.
They don't, like, I think part of when you develop a layout is you want kind of a consistent design language across it, right? That means titles, if they're all caps, they're kind of all caps everywhere, or the line height or the color red or whatever. This feels a little disconnected. I think that title is actually pretty jarring because it doesn't really jive with the rest of the site.
Yeah,
it's competing with the nav bar, which is black. There's no logo title, and so you're just seeing this big kind of font that exists on its own, disconnected from the rest of the design. So I would say that it would feel more consistent if it was even just the same font as the other titles. It's something to play around with. You can make it work with a crazy font, but
yeah, this is very efficient. The footer is very efficient too.
Yep.
Adding some jokes like ring, it's also important. Like especially on a blog, you set the tone.
Yeah. Overall, though, it's nice. It's clean. It's good spacing.
I think that's the last one. Okay, thread, let's blog. Okay, so with the fixed navigation, nice. Oh yeah, so it's more like editorial, like news, when you have like several articles about the author. Okay, a fashion vlog. Okay, like I guess link to some videos. And here, what is this? New blog topic. I guess you can submit a topic maybe. You can submit an article.
Yeah. I like this. I think the layout's cool. I think you potentially could add some spacing though. It still feels pretty tight. Everything's like very close together. The text is really close to the images, but not terrible. I think it could breathe a little bit. But the choice of using like one red with photos and then basically black and white, I think is really clean and nice.
Yeah, and you choose like a very clean treatment here. Here it's a little bit, with a drop shadow, like it's a different approach. So yeah, maybe we should, maybe you should keep it to something like super efficient, very flat.
I think the rest of the design is pretty flat, and you have some drop shadows on your buttons too, and I don't think they're necessary anymore. I think they add to the noise.
Yeah.
So I think you could kill those drop shadows everywhere, and you'd be pretty happy with the results. Nice.
Yeah, but this is great. Like, thanks for sharing like all these amazing entries with the different styles, and
yeah,
we talked about
amazing what people can come up with.
Space, typography, you know, tone.
Yeah, nice work.
All these things that are very important on blogs. So thanks, Josh, for today, and I'm excited to be back tomorrow, and we can start working on
we'll get into
some
the
UI
designs
elements
tomorrow. Put some color on the page.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for submitting your entries. Tomorrow we will review portfolios. So so I will ask you, what do you think about, like, what type of feedback when you see the full portfolio, first impression, and what they can improve inside.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited.
Be great too. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. We had a lot of fun. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.